So this right here, I got these cattle, and then I got the 6 up front, but that's all I got left. I'm gonna raise these animals up to about well, the heifers, I'll probably get them closer to about 700, 750, and the steers, I'll probably get them closer to 800, 850. Then I'll go ahead and take them to market. If you take a look around, you can see that there's a lot of water on the ground, and it did rain last night. And the sale barn was super busy yesterday. So, well, I'm not exactly, I don't know how much I made, but my check will be here probably within 2 days, 3 days. So I'll be doing okay. Any month that I sell cattle, granted that, you know, if I got 1 to 1.5 type cattle, medium, large frame, you know, that extra money does a lot. It like more than doubles the amount of money that I make every month. And so I just got to see, I don't know exactly how much I made, but that's the animal with the abscess, and it's deflated a lot. And so I think she's gonna be doing, but she's obviously eating. But here this Tuesday, I'm gonna go out and go hunting. I'm gonna go and see what well, okay, so here's the thing about hunting, is that me, like, if my life depended on it, right? Like if I were in desperate need of food, if I was in desperate need of food, I wouldn't go walking off into the woods, right? I would be trapping the hogs. I would be baiting them. I would, if I could, I would buy a drone and stick like a thermal camera on it, and I would fly that drone around. That is how I would. But me, on the reason that I'm going out into the woods to go hunting is to just go and just walk around in the woods for a day, right? I'm not going out. If I do find a hog, I'll take it. But if I don't, it's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. If I was in a situation where I desperately needed food, I wouldn't go walking around looking for hogs. I would bait them, I would trap them, I would send a drone up into the air, something like that. So I'm gonna go this Tuesday, and I'm gonna go walk around in the woods. And if y'all take a look at the back, y'all can see that the grass has started coming back. The grass in the front is probably about 5 inches tall. And so the grass here is gonna be doing very good. And this month, I think I'm gonna do close to about $9,000-$10,000. I'm not doing very good for myself, but I'm still managing to do about $9,000-$10,000. And I am gonna get my income tax money back. I just need to get in contact with my CPA. And when my CPA, so me, I have a rough idea of what I'm looking to accomplish, right? Like I have a business account, and I have a business account that I put my money into. And when I put my money into it, it's a finite number, right? It's not subjective. Like if I put $65,000 into my bank account, I'm gonna have $65,000 in my bank account. And so if I put $65,000 in my business account, the goal is to invest all of it. Because if I invest all of it and then I take a loan for my living expenses, I now am able to write off practically all of my income taxes. That is the long story short on income taxes for me. But the person who's gonna know exactly what I owe is my CPA. That's the person who's gonna know how much I owe. It's just like the bank, right? Like I have an idea. Okay, if I make 3.5 times the rough estimate for an interest rate on a loan right now from this particular bank is like 3.75%. The rough estimate is 3.75%, maybe 3.75 to 4.5%. And so, and they're offering a program right now where you don't need a down payment, and even if you don't have a down payment, you will not have to pay private mortgage insurance. And so I can have a general idea of what things need to look like, but at the end of the day, the person who's going to know exactly is the person who is responsible. And so, like, it doesn't matter if it's like I'm looking to take a loan. It doesn't matter if I'm looking to file my taxes. The person who's going to know is the person who is responsible. And so, I can have an overall idea, a rough idea. Okay, so if I'm looking to take a loan for $500,000, I'll probably end up owing about $2,300 a month, right? I can have a rough idea. So how did I come up with that number? Okay, so if I take a loan on 30-year finance at a 3.75 to 4.5% interest, You know, and it can even go as far as down to like I can look at the amortization of the schedule of the loan, and I can think about how much like if I can write off the interest of my loan on my taxes, how much does that come out to be? I can even do stuff like that if I really felt like it. But I look to do the big picture stuff. I don't really look to do the small finite stuff. I don't really do that because there are people who you can pay that will do that for you. The small finite stuff, like me, you know, like farming is a great example for me. Like if somebody was looking for somebody who was going to come in and take soil data, come in and take an evaluation of the field, look at what needs to be done to a finite detail, I would probably be a good person to do that, right? And there are other people in other aspects of the market that do what they do: banking, accounting, everything. And so, you know, I just have an overall idea of what needs to be accomplished, and I just focus on my part. And as soon as I get my paperwork filed, I'm going straight to the FSA. I'm going to see if I can get myself a grant, and if I can't get myself a grant, well, I'm going to just see what the banker says. I'm just going to sit there and listen to what the banker says and see what they offer, right? What kind of loans do they offer? What kind of grant programs do they have, etc., etc. And the banker, a lot of people, if they genuinely saw objectively how much money I make on this farm, even the banker would be surprised. A lot of people, because a lot of people, they do not make like $180,000 a year. Granted that, like, you know, me, if I make $200,000 a year, I don't make $200,000 a year. I have to reinvest a large portion of that income back into my business, and I have to make investments, etc., etc. And so, like this year, even on my cattle business, if I think about my cattle business, I'll probably end up doing about $150,000 on just my cattle business. And so, you know, but granted that out of that $150,000, maybe I keep like 60. And so, I mean, but that's still good, right? Like an extra $5,000 a month at the end of the day. And, you know, and maybe it's closer to like 50,000, maybe, or 50,000 or so. And so, at the end of the day, even $4,000 a month of excess income, if I just have $4,000 left over every single month, there is practically not any reasonable way for me to spend that money. Granted that I don't have some major issue, right? Like I'm not like addicted to drugs. I'm not drinking every day. I'm not drinking. I'm not going I'm not going out every weekend. Stuff like that. If I don't have a major problem like that, $4,000 a month of excess income is almost unlimited money. And here's a good way to put it, right? Like me, when I look at my farm, and this is a good reality check for a lot of people, because a lot of people, they'll say they want something, but all they do is talk. They don't walk even an inch. And, you know, like when I look at this farm, right, let's talk about money. Let's say I gave a lot of people, even if they say they want to be a farmer, if I gave them $500, they're not going to go, oh my God, here is my chance, right? Because like, look at my field. What does this cost me, right? What does this cost me? $650 a month, right? About $600 a month. And for $650 a month, I can grow enough grass to feed, to put conditioning and to properly raise about, if I had cattle this size, maybe about 75 of them. You know, cattle this size right here. If I had cattle this size, I could potentially even raise 100 of them for about $650 a month. $500 a month. If I put in some feed on it, maybe about $700 a month. But if I gave somebody $700 a month, even if they say they want to be a farmer, if I gave them $700 a month, almost nobody is going to actually start farming. They're not going to be like, oh, here is my chance to run a business that's going to make me $4,000 a month. They're not going to think like that. Most people, they'll take that $700 and then they'll go and do whatever else it is that they actually want to do. Because the whole idea of the human being is that the human being is a rational creature, right? Everybody has that voice deep down. They have a voice deep down. And understanding that your voice deep down is very important. Because a lot of people with their mouth, they will say they want to be a farmer, but spiritually, deep down in their soul, they will not actually want to be a farmer. And a very, very realistic way to look at this is to see if they put their money where their mouth is. You know, if you gave them $650, do they actually start growing 10 acres of hay? Do they start, do they start trying to learn about farming, right? Like, do they actually look to make a big leaps towards their goals? Even if they slip and fall, will they still keep going, right? That's the ultimate test. And a lot of people, they'll say one thing and they won't actually mean it. They'll just be talking. You can give these people, it doesn't matter if I gave these people $10 million a year, they would not be able to farm. Farming, it's not something that can happen through money. Farming is something that it's almost like a spiritual existence, and it needs to be your entire existence if you actually want to make it. And like me, when I drive around, a lot of people, they do not make it. They do not make it. I can take a look at someone's field and know instantaneously, within 5 seconds, if they're actually making a lot of money. If they got like, I remember one time I was driving by a guy's field, and he was planting corn in some like a $200,000 John Deere tractor. And I'm like, instantaneously, I knew this guy is screwed, right? I mean, he's not going to make any money. How does he plan to pay off that tractor, right? How does he plan to make any money growing corn? I mean, within 3 seconds, right? And like, if I go around and I drive around the field and they got, 200 acres of hay and they got their cattle walking around on it, if I see I'm not saying this to be a dick, I'm just saying objectively, right? It's like these animals are on a body conditioning score of 5. If they were fortunate, they could run one animal per 2 or 3 acres. If they were fortunate, and even then, the animals would not be putting on proper conditioning. Their protein levels may be right, but the energy is probably not. They probably do need an energy supplement, especially if all they're eating is that janky grass. And so, I mean, I can drive around, and within 3 seconds, I will know, like, within 3 seconds. This is legitimately my entire life. This is legitimately all I do. I live where I work. And so, at the end of the day, I'm not saying, like, when I talk about how much money I make, I'm not saying this to be like, oh my God, I'm showing off. I'm not saying this to be like, look at me, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this because a lot of people, if they had some extra money, they would be very happy. They would, no matter what they say, because a lot of people, they'll say one thing, but they'll actually mean something else. A lot of people, if they actually had some extra money, they would be very happy, regardless of what they say right now. If they had some extra money, they would be very happy. Most people would be. Granted that they may actually go and ruin their lives. If they had some extra money, they may actually go and ruin their lives. I mean, who knows, right? They may be going to the bar every weekend. They may be going whatever, right? They may be doing whatever. They may actually ruin their lives. But I mean, like me deep down, one of my big goals is, I've actually seen what it takes to make $30,000 a month in the cattle business. I've seen it, right? I've been able to do it. Granted that I was only able to do it for 2 months. But I have seen what $30,000 a month in the cattle business looks like. I have seen it with my own eyes, objectively. It's not subjective, right? It's not like, oh, in a la land, I'm a cattleman, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about objectively, I have been able to make $30,000 a month running cattle. Granted that it was only for 2 months out of the year, but I've still seen it. And so fundamentally, I understand it. And that is my big goal. That is what I'm going towards here within the next year. I'm going to put myself in a spot where I can make $30,000, $40,000 a month in the cattle business. Because I've seen it, right? I've seen it. I know that it's possible. It does not matter what anybody else says. And I know that may sound harsh or whatever, but it's the reality. It's truth, right? Because I'm not here to save people. I can't save people. A lot of people, they can't be saved. Even, like, would it really be in my best interest? Like, let's say I found somebody and I'm like, man, if I spent the next 20 years holding this person's hand, maybe I could save them, right? Maybe I could save them. Is that really more important than me producing 50,000 pounds of beef a year, right? Genuinely, it's probably more important for me to go around and grow 50,000 pounds of beef than it is to just hold someone's hand for 20 years. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a first generation farmer. You see this, I taught myself how to do all of this. And so it's possible. It is possible. I mean, people can do it. And, you know, if you want to know what making money in the cattle business looks like, this is it right here. I mean, absorb it, and you know, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. You know, but one day, I mean, one day maybe, right? But this is what making money in the cattle business looks like. Me personally, I have seen $30,000 a month before. I've seen it before. It's like once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And so it's like I've seen what it takes to make $30,000 a month in the cattle business. And so that is one of my big goals. And that's what I'm going towards. That's what I'm going for. But that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.